Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's informational webinar on the EnergyTech University Prize. I think we're going to wait another minute to give everyone a chance to get logged in. So if you'll just sit tight, we will begin momentarily. Thank you. Once again, if you are just now joining our presentation, we're going to wait another 30 seconds or so to get started. Just want to give everyone a chance to get logged in. All right, I think we can go ahead and start today's webinar. Once again, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's informational webinar on the EnergyTech University Prize, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of Technology Transitions. My name is Jackie Petrie. I'm on the EnergyTech UP team at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Before we get started today, we want to go over a few quick housekeeping items. By now, I'm sure all of you are fairly familiar with Zoom, but just to orient everyone to this platform, you have a couple options for connecting to audio. So if you have any technical difficulties or find that you can't hear some speakers, you can change your settings by navigating to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, finding, or it might be on the bottom center for you all, but there should be a microphone button. You can click the up arrow and change your audio settings there. You can also send me a direct message through the chat if you are still having technical difficulties. This is a reminder to all of our panelists. Please remain muted when not speaking during today's presentation. We are recording and we'll make a recording available as well as a copy of the slides on HeroX in the next day or so. And at any point during today's presentation, you can submit questions through the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. There's also a chat panel and you can send messages there, but just to try to keep things straight, we ask you to try to use the Q&A tab for questions. And with that, I am going to hand things over to my colleague, Joe Simon, who is the project lead for the EnergyTech University Prize at NREL.
All right. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. I'm excited to tell you more about this competition now in our second year and why I think you should participate, or if you are not a student, why someone from your institution or organization should participate, because we are a competition that is challenging student teams to develop and present business plans using technology from national labs. So one of the 17 Department of Energy national labs, technology developed at your school, at your university or college, or really any technology that is emerging for the energy field. So really opportunities for you to present that business plan, to get experience with the energy industry, about technology commercialization, about how to present to judges, how to advance the impact you can have on the community through the energy industry. And really, we're excited to see the ideas you present and bridge that conversation from engineering to business and beyond. And so with that, we will be with you for about an hour today, and we will spend a few minutes providing a welcome, and an introduction to the program. We have someone here from the Office of Technology Transitions who will speak briefly about an ongoing internship opportunity for which applications are open right now. We are joined by one of our former competitors and winners from the competition to share some words about their participation and how they found it impactful in their own education and opportunity development. And then we'll talk a little bit more about why we're running this program, the recap of our inaugural 2022 competition, and then the structure for the 2023 competition. We'll close with a few clear and easy to follow next steps so that if you are a student interested in participating, you know what to do. If you are a faculty or tech transfer professional, hoping that someone who is at your institution is able to participate, you know how to spread the word. And if you're someone from industry or from an association, you're able to speak intelligently about the EnergyTech University Prize and the opportunity contained within. So to say just a little bit more about what I did before, we are supported by the Office of Technology Transitions, as well as 7 other technology offices here at the Department of Energy that challenges multidisciplinary student teams to present a business plan. So it's important to recognize that this is a business plan competition. It is not a startup competition. So the judging criteria that we'll talk about in a few minutes are really around the idea that you develop. So everything that you can research from the market, from the technology, from the structure and the capital that might be necessary, you're able to learn that information and present it and have a great chance at winning the competition. This isn't about your CV or your prior experience. No matter where you're starting from, we are excited and welcome you to participate in this program. And we encourage you to think about developing a business plan for any energy technology. So this could be something available for a license from one of the 17 national labs, or it could be something from your university tech transfer office, your university's set of available IP, something under study by a research group, or just something that the students or yourselves are passionate about. Really, any energy technology is welcome. And we're excited to have over $350,000 in cash prizes available to teams that do well in this competition. We look forward to enabling many, many different students to present, to get feedback from industry judges, to gain connections and to gain insight into the opportunities of a career in the energy industry. We are supported primarily by the Office of Technology Transitions. So the Department of Energy is a very large organization that is focused on everything from nuclear energy security to energy efficiency to geothermal to buildings and more. And the Office of Technology Transitions serves as a central hub for the technology transfer activity. So that's how do we get some of these innovations created by national labs, created by the federal government out into industry and having impact on the economic, energy, and national security interests of the United States. That's about streamlining access to the labs, increasing the visibility of some of the technologies available for license, and building up our energy ecosystem through students, faculty, and tech transfer professionals like yourself. So we hope that this program is a way for you to gain and increase your connection to the Department of Energy and to really build up that ecosystem that's going to be necessary as we try to impact the world in the future. And speaking of that, I have a colleague here, Hera, who's going to speak briefly about our technology commercialization internship program. Hera, over to you.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone. Like you said, my name's Hera Hamidi. I'm actually the program coordinator for this internship that's also hosted by the Office of Technology Transitions. So the Technology Commercialization Internship Program, pretty much if you're interested in the EnergyTech UP program, you'll be interested in this internship. It's open to undergraduate students. So if you're anything above that, unfortunately, this internship isn't for you. However, we do have other opportunities at the DOE that are available. If you scan that QR code on the right side of your screen, that should bring you to our website to give you more details about the internship. The internship is mostly focused on teaching young entrepreneurs, people that are in STEM that are really interested in business, or people that in business that are really interested in STEM, how to really work between the two fields. And you'll be paired with a DOE national lab. You'll be working on a technology and commercializing it. So what is commercializing? Which I'm sure hopefully many of you do know. Commercializing is what OTT mainly focuses on, and it is trying to move something that a DOE national lab has created into the commercial marketplace. So we'll be creating a strategy and seeing if the technology is even feasible to be commercialized. So to be eligible for this program, it's pretty straightforward. It's on your screen. You have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. So unfortunately, international students are not eligible. You have to be of 18 years of age by June 1st, 2023, and you have to be enrolled as a full-time undergrad student pursuing a degree in STEM or business, and you should have an interest in entrepreneurship and technology commercialization. Benefits. So this year, you'll be getting $750 per week. It'll be a virtual internship. So this virtual internship is going to be administered via Zoom. And then at the very end of the internship, you will be flown out to a DOE National Lab. Last year, we went to Berkeley National Lab, and you'll be able to present your final presentations. And I believe I noticed on the attendance list here, we actually have one of our old winners from last year's internship, Troy Brennan. You can talk about it hopefully later, but he's here. So if you have any questions about the real experience, you can probably ask him. But applications are due by January 16th, 2023 at 8 a.m. Eastern time. If you have any questions, my email is listed there below. And yeah, if you guys just want to reach out and ask about more details, shoot me an email. Fun fact, I was also an intern. So I actually got my job because I was an intern, and the networking opportunities are immense. So if you want a job like me or Joe or Jackie, you should probably apply. Thanks, Joe. Back to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So for those of you who are listening, this is now our second competition. So we had our inaugural year in 2022, where we had 180 teams from 113 different schools present their innovative ideas for commercializing some energy technologies. And to speak a little bit more about that experience and some of the outcomes of that participation, I'm excited to have Andrew Troy here, who is our second place winner from the Virginia Tech team. So Andrew, do you want to speak a few minutes about your experience and maybe share why people listening here might consider participating?
Andrew, you are muted.
Am I muted? Oh, son.
There we go. Now we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry
Yep.
about that. Yeah, I can't recommend competing enough, because for us, this competition was really the catalyst behind kind of spurring us forward towards an actionable startup. We actually did incorporate in Delaware as a C Corp. You know, we're applying for the NSF SBIR, and our pitch was already accepted by them. So we're good to submit our full proposal. We've already had conversations with different funding opportunities for, you know, pre-seed funding. So I think that a lot of that came directly from this, because before we were very fresh. I know that for a lot of you, you probably may not have any startup experience, or the type of, you know, technology you're trying to commercialize might not be, you know, super advanced in terms of TRL or anything like that. We were in the same exact position. We really didn't have a business plan at all. That was all created during this, and we got great help from our mentors. You know, Joe Simon was actually one of them, and through all of the other mentors in the program and different people that we were able to meet, they really helped us to kind of craft what we wanted to do and how we can kind of approach commercialization. And so I think that, you know, if you're able to have the same opportunity, then I would definitely highly encourage you to participate, because I just think that being able to hear from those mentors and get their insight and experience is really, you know, is really invaluable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andrew, and appreciate you joining us today. And if people have a couple of questions in the chat, perhaps you can send them along, but we're also always available at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov if you have any questions about participation. That being said, I'm happy to agenda. Let's see if I can switch back if my headphones have connected back again. It looks like they have. And thank you so much, Andrew, for your time today. So to share a little bit more. So we here at the Department of Energy and together with the National Renewable Energy Lab really recognize that energy does enable the success of the country. And so in this presentation, you'll see images from some of the technologies that were presented in our inaugural year. So the previous image that we saw was from the University of Miami's structural piezoelectric technology. And here we have something from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, around super compact wireless charging infrastructure. And all of these teams took something that they were doing in their lab or something that they read about from the lab partnering service and presented a business plan. So very much about that opportunity and how things are changing over time. So as we think about the US energy supply, it's shifting very rapidly. There are new business opportunities in generation. There are new business opportunities in material science. science. There's new opportunities in carbon capture. And you'll see this competition is open to any of those different considerations. So if you are passionate about cybersecurity or about financing areas or about building an ecosystem or about a particular type of research, you're more than welcome to participate. We see this growth in energy productivity and this growth in the innovation as a way for business innovation to be explored. So you can think about all of these different areas in the EnergyTech University Prize. We are technology agnostic. We really do want to see teams that think about new generation, about the value for time and place, about transportation or logistics, about material science, about cybersecurity or finance challenges. Your innovations help to move those researchers forward. So if you have a faculty who invented a new technology, but they haven't considered what the product market fit is, that could be a great way for students in a class to build up that business plan. If you have a entrepreneurship activity or a club or something like that, you're able to look at the energy available from the lab partnering service and build up a proposal, even if your school is not deeply connected to the energy industry. The goals of our program really are about building engagement between the Department of Energy, our 17 national labs, industry, and many different colleges and universities. This isn't intended to just make existing relationships stronger. We're very excited to build new relationships, and we want you to see these opportunities. So perhaps you do move your technology forward, like we just saw Andrew talk about, or perhaps this inspires you to connect with others in the industry. So one of our top teams from this last cycle found a technology on the lab partnering service, developed a business plan around it, presented it, did very well, and ended up discovering other startups in the field that they were interested in being connected to. That led to new opportunities. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you commercialize the technology you present in this competition for success to be realized. You can also find new startup opportunities, new internship opportunities, new ways to explore these career pathways. But ultimately, we do want to see some of that commercialization of energy technologies and new career growth. So as much as we can do so, we're excited to see that opportunity to build that energy community. We will have 15 different regional events. You'll be able to speak to and receive feedback from industry judges in your area. So if you are in California, if you're in the Midwest, if you're in the Mountain West or the Southeast, you will have a regional convener who is connected to your school, to your area, to your ecosystem. They understand what jobs might exist, what incubators or accelerators you might be able to apply to, and you'll be able to present to those judges and get real-time feedback. You'll be able to identify these business opportunities and together work to secure our energy future. So in our 2022 cycle, in our first edition, we were so pleased to have a wide range of technologies presented, ranging from modular nuclear technology that you can see here from MIT to a smart piezoelectric floor that generated energy, to this team that considered the flow of water in high rises as an opportunity for generating electricity. Really unique approaches that needed to consider, who would pay for it? How much might they pay? How much might it cost to bring this product to market? And is there a business plan around this technology? In our inaugural year, we were excited to have 180 teams from 113 different schools, representing 42 states, DC, and Puerto Rico. These schools were able to engage with each other. They were able to meet other teams, be inspired by the research ongoing at their university, at their college, or at other areas. And we look forward to expanding that again in the 2023 cycle. We were able to support and engage hundreds of student presenters who were able to get that live feedback from judges. We had over 55 different industry judges participate and be willing to spend their time engaging with the students, engaging with the ideas, and really thinking about whether or not this has potential and how it could be improved over time. So those 55 judges are committed to the idea of engaging with upcoming students who may be entering the industry in the near future. And then ultimately, we were excited to award 17 teams prize money who were able to present at a national event and then compete for first, second, or third overall. And we're continuing to expand and grow that for the upcoming year. We're very excited by all of our winning teams. It's important to note, if you're looking here, the wide range of schools that are represented, from University of Miami and Delaware to Hawaii, Texas A&M, to MIT, University of Illinois, Appalachian State, and others, as well as the wide range of different technology focus areas. So you see something in CSP, in battery recycling, in nuclear, in piezoelectric supercapacitors, in geothermal, in all of these different areas. So whatever you might be passionate about, know that we are interested in hearing your ideas and seeing your commercialization plan. All of this came together in 2022 with winners being announced on March 25th. In 2022, we still did this all virtually, but you'll see in a few moments that we hope to have our national winners together at a national event in Austin, Texas this April. But congratulations to our first, second, and third place winners, as well as all of our technology bonus prize winners who were from a variety of different schools. Our competing students did find this to be valuable, and we think you will too. Students were able to think about ways to communicate differently. It's a new skill for some engineers. It's a way to understand the difference between a business-focused talk and a science-focused talk, and to really think about that business plan, the opportunities of an energy career, and the opportunities for the skills and knowledge needed for technology commercialization. So really just excited to have that positive feedback and looking forward to grow it again for 2023. So with that being said, how will the 2023 competition actually work? So we are thinking of this in a 3-phase activity. Right now, we're just excited to be having the conversation, excited to be able to tell you more about this competition so that you can recruit team members. Maybe you're in an engineering school and you want to reach out to someone in your business school who can help you with finance and marketing, or vice versa. Maybe you are a faculty who wants to think about integrating this into an upcoming elective course that you have for the spring semester. Perhaps you're a tech transfer professional who has some technology that's waiting for that right product market fit. You have a researcher who's submitted a record of invention or has some IP, but they don't really know how it could get to market. Maybe this is an opportunity for some students to help that researcher move that idea forward. So right now, this is idea building phase. Think about how you might participate, where you might find some of these ideas, and who you might participate with. And then think about submitting a 200-word summary of your technology to be leveraged and the opportunity by our registration deadline on January 26th of 2023. Immediately following that registration close, we will identify 180 teams who will be invited to present at one of 15 different regional Explore events. These will all be virtual, and this will be a great way for you to share your idea, get feedback from judges, and to see some of the other innovations from your competitors across your region. So 180 teams will have the opportunity to pitch their solutions, get feedback, and really learn from each other. As part of those regional Explore events, we'll identify a first place regional winners, as well as up to 8 different technology bonus prize finalists from each region. The Department of Energy will then identify those bonus prize winners who will receive some additional funding, and many teams will be invited to refine their solution before pitching as part of a national event on April 3rd, 2023. In total, the regional events will occur between February 14th and February 28th. So your timeline for participation, if you aren't ultimately a winner, is really the days leading up to January 26th as you think about your initial idea, an intense period between January 26th and your regional Explore event in mid-February where you make that initial pitch. And then if you become a winner, you have an opportunity to resolve and refine your solution. So this isn't a huge time commitment. If you're inspired even a little bit, we do think you should take the time to register and create an entry by that January 26th deadline. This competition, again, says that winners will be chosen on the strength of their business proposal, not the team's ability to launch that business. We're excited that we have about $100,000 in prizes across first, second, and third place provided by the Office of Technology Transitions, as well as 8 $25,000 technology bonus prizes from buildings, electricity, fossil energy and carbon management, geothermal, nuclear energy, solar energy, and water power, as well as a $25,000 prize for a team that does look at the lab partnering service and proposes a business plan that licenses national lab IP from one of the national labs. Additionally, we provide prizes to our regional winners. So you'll notice here that this is a large amount of money. However, it is spread across many different teams. We think everyone should feel and excited about the opportunity to participate and the opportunity to win some notable outcomes. We're convened and supported by 15 different regional conveners who help make this program a success. They are leaders in their area. They are connected to jobs, they're connected to accelerators, to incubators, they're connected to industry leaders. And so by participating and partnering with these regional conveners who are hosting a Explore event in one of these 15 different areas, these regional conveners can help you as a competitor, whether you're a winner or not, get connected to follow-on opportunities. So we thank all of them, from Elemental Accelerator to the Rice Alliance for Technology and Entrepreneurship, for their participation. If you are a participant, the region that you participate in is determined by the location of your team captain's school. So we don't really care where you rest your head at night. And if you have students from multiple schools, that's perfectly fine. Your region is decided based on your team captain's school location, and these are all virtual. So we do encourage you to think about participating in whatever way is most effective for you. We've already been able to secure and announce our regional convener Explore dates. And so if you know which region you'd be in, you can pencil into your calendar one of these dates between the 15th and the 28th. And we do encourage you to continue to think about submitting by January 26th. And then we will hopefully be able to invite you to be one of the 12 teams presenting at each region. As mentioned earlier, our prizes total up to about $370,000, but they are spread across many different potential winners. So first place for 2023 will receive $50,000, second place $30,000, third place $20,000, and then 8 different teams may receive $25,000 each for being the best team that addresses the technology challenge presented by that technology office. Additionally, a team may win the National Lab IP Licensing Bonus Prize, and each of our 15 regional winners will receive $3,000 as well. So excited to be able to provide all of this support to your teams. This competition is open to students of any level. So whether you are at a 2-year, 4-year, or graduate institution, whether you are an undergraduate student, graduate student, or PhD candidate, you're welcome to participate in this program. We do expect and ask that the team captain must be a US citizen or permanent resident, as that's the only legal way that we can provide you a cash prize when you win, and then recognize that only students can present to judges. So as we look in our rules, you'll understand that this is open to any national lab developed or other high potential energy technology, including those developed at your institution or by the students, and that you're able to choose that regional event based on the location of your team captain's school. We do note, and you can look at this in the selection criteria in the roles, we are seeking some schools that and ideas that are new. So if you have a startup that has previously raised $17 million, we're probably not going to prefer that you're one of our winners compared to those teams that are new to the energy field. So you can look at that in the rules, how that preference would work, but we are expecting and trying to give support to those who are creating new ideas as part of their participation in this competition. Similar to what we heard from Andrew, where they had a technology, they had done some of that advancement and conversation, but they had not considered the business plan or the commercialization plan. So that was new work done for their participation in EnergyTech University Prize. And that's very exciting for us to see as a potential opportunity. So ultimately, this gives you an opportunity through our regional pitches. With 15 different events and 12 teams each, you will be provided 7 minutes to share your idea, and then there'll be 3 minutes of Q&A with the judges. This will be expected to be an initial idea and opportunity. You'll have an opportunity to refine and improve that idea should you be the regional winner or the technology bonus prize finalist, and ultimately the technology bonus prize winner in this competition. Several of these teams will be invited to our national event. This will be a full day event. You'll be provided free access to an industry conference. There'll be 16 presentations, and we'll choose first, second, and third overall. Additionally, we'll provide an opportunity for those technology bonus prize winners to present to that audience and get feedback as well. If you're intrigued, I do highly encourage you to spend a little bit of time looking at our official rules document. This talks through things like how to enter, what to submit, how winners are determined, and all that great information that will help you be a more successful team. It's only about 20 pages of content, and it is available on our website, herox.com/energytechup. So I do encourage you to read those rules if you're intrigued at all about the competition. Thinking about that though, if you're here and you're still intrigued and you want to know what to submit and how you win, in order to register as a team and become one of those 180 teams selected to present to judges, you need to submit a 200-word written summary addressing the energy technology to be leveraged, and you may optionally submit a slide deck that summarizes your business plan and the suggested content identified in Table 3, which I've excerpted below. From there, we'll identify those invited 180 teams, and those 180 teams will then have a few weeks to prepare for their Explore phase presentation. In that activity, they will submit a slide deck as well as an updated 200-word summary of what they're doing. For the registration, you can see that suggested content covers things like what is the technology to be leveraged, who would buy the product or service, and why do they need that product or service, who would benefit should that business succeed, and what role will this business play in the energy transition should it be successful. Once you're selected as one of those teams, you can see the criteria expand slightly. You might think a little bit more about market assessment, about economic feasibility, about potential impact in the overall business plan, and then the judges will look at these 5 evaluation statements in scoring your team. Should you become one of the winners, who is then invited to the national event, there's a little bit more information still. We'll expect that written business plan, a 90-second video highlighting the technology to be leveraged and the business opportunity, and then an updated and refined slide deck. So that's how this competition works and what you'll submit through your participation. The competition exists on a platform called HeroX. This is where you'll be able to click follow the competition to make sure you receive regular updates. And then when you're ready, you can click solve this challenge. Once you log in, that'll give you an opportunity to click begin entry. And you can see here in very tiny letters, click create submission, and there'll be a few questions for you. Which region are you in? Which school are you associated with? What is your 200-word project summary? It should be pretty straightforward and simple, but if you ever have any issues, please do reach out to the organizers at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov. Throughout the competition, we want you to succeed. We recognize that not all of our participants may be coming from an established energy program. So we have taken time on the lab partnering service to highlight energy technologies that are prime for commercialization from our national labs. Those are available for you to learn more about, potentially be connected with the inventor, and to be able to present that business potential as part of your participation. Additionally, all 180 teams invited to participate in the Explore event will receive free access to the Department of Energy's Energy I-Core education materials. We think this is a great resource to help you understand how to bring energy technologies to commercialization. Additionally, for those winning teams, we'll provide expert mentorship, as Andrew mentioned earlier, from DOE or lab staff. And you can also watch the presentations from the 2022 competition. They've all been recorded and we're happy to share those links. You're excited and you may be able to receive those cash prizes. And throughout the competition, we will stress and emphasize and enable as much as possible industry connections. We think that's important for our regional conveners. We think it's important for you as students, as well as for faculty. How can this lead to a job offer? How can this lead to an internship? How can this lead to investment in your innovation? All of these different areas, as best as we can support those industry connections, we are here to do so. I mentioned this briefly, but all 180 teams this year will receive access to the Energy I-Core asynchronous learning materials. This is a program developed by the Department of Energy Office of Technology Transitions that is primarily made for helping laboratory researchers understand how to bring their laboratory research technology to commercialization, to think about the private sector needs, to think about the industry agreements, to think about that culture. So over the years, there's been 13 cohorts. The materials have been developed and refined and very much advanced, and they span the technology areas. As you can see, it's everything from bioenergy to water to wind to vehicles to nuclear and more. And so this training materials will be made available. In the 2022 edition, we were only able to make that Energy I-Core training available to our top 17 teams, but this year we're excited that all 180 teams who are invited to the Explore event will be able to access this information. It will help you with the business model canvas, with customer discovery, learning about the energy ecosystem, about customer segments, about value propositions, and direct market feedback. All of this information can help you be more successful in the future. In addition, we're excited to tell you more about the lab partnering service from the Office of Technology Transitions. This is a site where nearly 2,000 technologies from the DOE's national labs are summarized, and they can be explored and conversations can be continued. So if you're looking to develop a business plan, but you do not have a technology in mind, you're not in a research group, you're not at a university with a deep IP portfolio, you're more than welcome to participate in the EnergyTech University Prize. We've reached out to our national labs, and as a result of their engagement with this program, about 100 energy technologies are highlighted for consideration by you as competitors. You're welcome to choose any of the 2,000 technologies available on the lab partnering service, but we know that can be overwhelming as well. So about 100 of them have initially kind of been starred for your consideration, and you're able to think about how you can present a business plan for that technology. In fact, our first place winner in the 2022 cycle from the university, from Stanford University, found a technology on the lab partnering service, engaged with the inventor from Ames National Lab, presented a business plan, and won first place. This student and the student team did not have prior experience with this type of technology or with the technology itself, but by learning and listening, they were able to really present a compelling case and help everyone be more successful in the future. With that, I'll turn things over to my colleague, Brittany, who I think will show you the lab partnering service for just a few minutes. Brittany, can you take over the screen share?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Let me share my screen. Okay. I think it's showing properly. Wait.
Yep, we can see your screen.
Okay. So my name is Brittany, and I am one of the team members for EnergyTech UP, and I'll just be walking through the lab partnering service today. So right now we're on the home screen of lab partnering service, and on the home screen there's this content drop down, and you can go search by experts, facilities, success stories, and technologies. As Joe mentioned, if you are unsure about what technology to use for your team, you might be interested in exploring some of the technologies on this website. So if you just click explore here, then it'll take you to an all laboratories technology summaries. There's almost 2,000 on here. And you can also, on the top list, explore by experts, facilities, and success stories as well. On this sidebar, you might be most interested in energy and utilities topics. Maybe you're interested in looking at technologies that are specific to building technologies. Or maybe you're interested in even more than one topic. You can select multiple topics here. And that'll just narrow down the technologies a little more. Another thing you can do on this website is if you go up to the Explore tab and explore by industry, there's a button specifically for energy and utilities. And what that'll do is it's another way to get to the same page. And if you click that, then it will select all of the topics on the left tab that we looked at before from energy and utilities. Right now it's on experts, but you can also, again, just scroll to technology summary. Also on the Explore, you'll see there's an Explore by popular topic button. If you go to this button, then there is a button specifically for the EnergyTech University Prize. And these are just technologies that have been tagged by the national labs, specifically with particular relevance to the EnergyTech University Prize. So there's a little bit of information about the prize on this page. And then there are technology summaries and success stories here. So you'll see a list of technologies that have been highlighted. And those you'll notice have a national lab highlighted on them. So if you were particularly interested in one national lab, for example, Idaho National Laboratory, then you could select that and it'll filter it down to technologies that are just invented by that lab. So let's also say you're interested in a particular topic such as storage. Then if you search that, then you'll see technology summaries that have that as a highlighted keyword. If you can click on that technology and it'll show you different applications of the technology readiness level, as well as a summary and the benefits. I'm not sure if Joe mentioned this, but there's also a contact button. You can contact the national laboratory that invented that technology, and it takes you to a form to do so. And while there's no guarantee, teams in the past have been connected by the national labs that have invented the technology. One other thing to show on this website is the patents dropdown. There is a visual patent search on here. And right now there's a bunch of patents shown on the side here. If you just filter to, if you select energy, for example, and then renewable energy and solar, then you can visually narrow it down. And maybe you're just interested in photovoltaics, and perhaps you're interested in certain properties, but this shows you the different patents that are specific to photovoltaic electric contexts. And it shows you also the patent status. So whether it's complete or in progress is green or yellow. If you click on one of these, you can also link to Google Patents. So that'll open in Google Patents for you if you click on that. Another way to look at this is through a circle pack. Right now, this is showing circles by assignee, but you can also look at circles by lab. So if you're interested in LB&L technologies, then that narrows down the patents to ones just invented by them, and again, shows the completion level. So that's a lot of what's available on the lab partnering service, and we really encourage you to use this resource if you are still looking for a technology for your team. Thanks so much. I'll turn it back to Joe.
Great. Thanks so much, Brittany. It looks like I am back. So thank you for that example. Hopefully that was inspiring and interesting to all of you. So if you compete and you're able to present to those judges as part of the Explore event, and you then get selected as either a technology bonus prize winner or a regional winner, you are going to be invited to our national event. This will take place as part of the Energy Thought Summit running between April 3rd and April 6th, 2023 in Austin, Texas. We think this will be a great way for those winning teams to engage with industry, to learn more about the emerging thoughts and opportunities in energy, and to be able to get live feedback again from judges for that first, second, and third. So presentations will take place on Monday, April 3rd. So you could travel over the weekend, be present on Monday, and if you need to return for class, you could return late Monday evening or early Tuesday. However, we would also encourage and invite you to remain for the remainder of the competition or the remainder of the conference so that you're able to learn from those industry leaders. So the Energy Thought Summit is a leading event for bold ideas and collaborative partnerships in the energy industry. It brings together executive thought leaders to power up conversations about the changing energy landscape. So we're very excited to partner with Z Prime to have the Energy Tech University Prize conclude at this program. And you can see, for example, how we will host 16 teams as well as our bonus prize winners as part of that activity, how students would be able to engage whilst judges deliberate, and then we would announce the winners early that evening. So if you're still here and still listening, thank you. And these are some next steps you can keep in mind. If you're intrigued at all, please do go to herox.com/EnergyTech University Prize and click follow. This will require that you create an account, but it will make sure that you receive our updates over the coming weeks and months as we approach January 26th, 2023, and our registration deadline. This means that we won't let you forget if you're interested in participating. If you do want to participate and you want to increase your chance of success, I encourage you to watch the 2022 final event presentations and read the rules. From there, if you are a faculty, if you are a tech transfer professional, if you're a dean or someone with an association or an industry organization, please do consider spreading the word using our promo pack of resources. I'll show you where to find that in just a moment. Or if you're a student who wants to find team members, we've got some pre-created graphics that you can use to build up this participation. From there, think about how you might find a team. Maybe you already have some ideas. Maybe you already have a technology or a research group. That's great. But it can also be part of a class. So if you have 15 people in a class, maybe that's 5 teams of 3 or 3 teams of 5 that each explore a new energy technology as part of their participation for spring of 2023. Maybe you're part of an energy club or a sustainability club or a entrepreneurship club or a startup club. If that's true, you could consider participating as well. You could receive some additional funding should you win, and you can really help to build that activity by keeping your team members or your club members engaged. You could even just participate as a group of friends or students in a research group supporting a faculty advisor. Any of these different areas are adequate for you to build and create a team. Once you've done that, you're more than welcome to explore energy technologies. Perhaps that's a conversation with your university's tech transfer office, or perhaps that's looking on the lab partnering service to find these new capabilities. Once you're ready, click Solve This Challenge. From there, you can begin a register entry. You can start, stop, return to it as many times as you want between now and January 26th, and then press Submit so that we can make sure you are hopefully one of the 180 teams who are able to accept for the 2023 competition. If you have questions along the way, contact us. We're always available, ott.energytechup@nrel.gov. Just some visuals to say what I just said. This is herox.com/energytechup, and then you just click follow. It will make you make an account, but you'll be able to get all of our upcoming updates. Additionally, you can find things like links to the recording of the final pitch event. You can find things like the rules, like some of these graphics at herox.com/energytechup/resources. This is where you could get a single image to put into an email, a single slide to put up during a class presentation. It could be something that you could put on Twitter or on LinkedIn or on other social media. All up to you. We make these resources available so that you can spread the word effectively. Once you have some interest, do explore that lab partnering service page and highlight some of those areas. As noted, you're more than welcome to try to press that contact button and see if a national lab will respond. They're under no obligation to do so, but we have had many respond successfully and have great participation in the past. So please do think about that if you want to click that contact button. Once you're ready, click Solve This Challenge and then work to submit a register entry by January 26th, 2023. We're here to answer any questions in these final few minutes that we may have today. We have about 10 minutes left, but I'm just excited to again share some of the success and outcomes we've seen through the participation in the program. Students learned more about how to make an impact, learned about sustainability. They learned about the ways to give less focus on the technical side and emphasize practicality and implementation. In the months since, one of our winning teams, Claw Industries, secured an EPA grant and is continuing to grow their business. Additionally, we saw the CEO of Mesophase, which is our geothermal technology bonus prize winner, named to Forbes's 30 under 30 for energy in North America. So just excited to see some of these follow-on impacts, follow-on outcomes from participation, and look forward to seeing what your story would be in the months or years to come. With that, happy to answer any questions that you may have. It looks like a few have popped up in the Q&A. Jackie, if you could let me know what those are, I'm happy to try to address them as well.
Yeah, we'll try to get through as many of these as we can in the next 10 minutes. So first question is, where can I find the recording and more information after this webinar?
Yeah. So let me see if I can do this really quick. So if I just switched to sharing my browser, I think what you can do is EnergyTech UP resources. In this resources section, you can see our prior informational webinar, and you can also see the recording of the 2022 final pitch event. So it's just up on YouTube. You can also find all of the regional Explore events as well, but you can see the different teams presenting and get some understanding of what teams were able to do during that competition, as well as some of the questions that our industry judges were able to ask as well. So just really excited about that resource being available to all of our teams.
Great, and also just as a note, we'll be sharing a recording of this webinar on HeroX in the coming days as an update. You can find that on the updates tab on HeroX. I just shared a link in the chat to the HeroX page if you want to go check that out and follow it right now. Let's see. Can our submission be a collaboration with a startup company?
Can. So the rules do not prohibit that as well. You will see in the rules that there is some level at which substantial prior funding of a startup may be less favorable to some of the selection criteria than one that is new. But I believe, and this is off the top of my head, so we'd have to go look at the rules, the limit is something like $200,000 of prior funding. So depending on where they're at, there's just some consideration, but there's no eligibility requirements. So you're more than welcome to partner with that existing startup. One way to think about participation is if you could develop a business plan for a new commercialization opportunity. Maybe it's a new technology, maybe it's a new market segment that they had not previously considered, but what's the way that you as students can add value to that startup to help pitch a new business opportunity as part of this competition? So we are expecting and hoping for mostly new work, but nothing is excluded as well. So yes, you're more than welcome to partner with an existing startup company.
Great. We had a couple of people asking, does the captain need to be a student?
Yes, the captain needs to be a student, but you can have other team members who are not students. So that captain who we provide that funding to is either that captain or to a single business entity coordinated by that captain, but the person filling out our prize receipt form needs to be the captain, and they need to be a US citizen or permanent resident. And so how the money is distributed after, so let's say you win a $25,000 technology bonus prize, is entirely up to you. So you would be responsible for paying taxes on that, should that be relevant, and then how you ever choose to distribute that amongst your team members or to an existing startup company, that's up to your team to decide. We, as the organizers and the Department of Energy and National Renewable Energy Lab, will generally do like one wire transfer to the team captain. So it should be just students presenting, but you could have other agreements as to where that funding goes afterwards. That's up to you, and that's up to you to make sure that it's done legally and that taxes are paid appropriately. So that's the context. You can figure out how your team would fit within that constraint as best as you understand your own constraints.
And this is just adding on to that, but to confirm, we had a question. The prize funding does not go to the school, it goes to the students.
Yep.
Great.
Correct.
We had a question, will this competition happen in 2024 as well?
We hope so, but it probably depends on doing a good job this year with some great outcomes. And so I would sure hope, and at this point, desire that it exists, but I'm here at the National Renewable Energy Lab. We support the US Department of Energy in running the program for them. And so I cannot speak as to if or how it might exist in 2024, but I will say between everyone else on this call, the better this cycle goes, the more likely we are to do it again in the future. So please do consider your participation in what I can promise in that is the 2023 edition.
Great. I think this is an interesting question. What are the preferred criteria of a winning business plan? For example, its relevance to some topic, its novelty, the technology's impact, the quality of the business plan, etc.
Yeah, it's a great question. So if you look at these evaluation statements that are written in the rules. What's important to note about the EnergyTech University prize is that we're not necessarily saying it has to be a venture scale business. It doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest, or it doesn't have to be the most profitable. It really is thinking about what is the technology to be leveraged? Do you understand the relevant market and potential competitors, including what pain points might be resolved? Have you done a clear and comprehensive economic feasibility analysis? Do you understand how much it might cost to bring this product to market and how much you might be able to charge to sell that product? And then from the evaluation statement, would the company, if successful, meet its goals? Would it benefit the community? Would it benefit from an equity point of view, not just the community that it's in or the community that it serves, but through the people that might work for it or the training that might be provided? So think about that potential impact on the energy transition, and then really think about what your definition of success is. And so in the EnergyTech University Prize, successful business plans are comprehensive, but they also know where they fit in the market. What is success? It's not always the biggest is the most successful, but rather how do you fit these different criteria? So I encourage you to read these rules, and you should hopefully be inspired on how to create a winning solution.
And Joe, while you're on this slide, we had a question that was actually specific to some of these questions. In the question, what role will this business play in the energy transition? Is that asking how the business proposal will bring technology into the market, doing so in such a way that it may revolutionize the market?
I think it's up to you. So we are a little bit vague in our language here on purpose. I think you can make that case. You can really think, is it important about the workforce? Is it important about the cost of energy? Is it important about the circularity? Is it important about the carbon footprint? Is it important about the productivity or resilience? All of these different areas you could say is why the role that this will play is important. And that's kind of up to you. How do you make your case, and how do you address these different areas? And so I will say these criteria are written to be just slightly vague on purpose. It's really up to you to make that case.
Great. I know we just have 2 minutes left. Joe, if you have time, it might be worthwhile for us to answer some of these questions. And if
Sure.
we can't get to yours right now, you can maybe revisit the recording that we post in the next couple of days and go to the end and listen to some of these questions. So we'll just keep on moving here. Can we present a technology that is still in the development phase?
Absolutely. So in this last cycle, we definitely had teams present some technologies that they said, part of this, we can't tell you all the details, but this is how it could work. There are those that are in a earlier TRL level, and they're able to say, these are the steps that are necessary before we're actually selling this to a company or selling this to a consumer. And that's okay. You can be in any of these different areas. It really is about thinking, what is that product market fit? What is that commercialization plan? And you don't need to disclose anything that is confidential or would prevent your ability to earn a patent in the future as well. So you can really think about, how do you present this information at a high level, get some feedback, and potentially move that conversation forward? So its readiness or the timeline for deployment is not relevant to the criteria as written here.
Great. And really quickly, before we move on to some of the other questions, while we still have people on the line, we had someone say that they were looking to join a team. Joe, do you want to just briefly talk about what's the best way to find teammates?
Sure. So from finding teammates point of view, I believe there is a forum available on the HeroX page that you could make a small post within. You could also contact us at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov, and we may be able to put you in touch with your regional convener or look at some of the other entries that have signed up for our various webinars or our platform and see if we can do a little bit of matchmaking, but that's in the near term. In the longer term, I believe on January 17th, we're going to host one more webinar where we will also have breakout rooms for each of our regional conveners and be able to encourage and enable some of that networking, collaboration, and team building activities. So I know that feels far away from right now, so please do contact us via email in the interim, but do plan to attend that January 17th webinar where we will help you prepare for your January 26th submission and do a little bit of networking as well.
Great. Another question about IP. Do we have to use National Lab IP, or if not, would it affect our chances of winning?
So you do not have to use National Lab IP. You're more than welcome to use something from your university that your students or your team is passionate about, that you've invented or that you just see as an emerging energy technology. So one of our technology bonus prize winners from the last cycle was around cold climate heat pumps. And it was more about a consulting business and a business opportunity for leveraging existing cold climate heat pumps than it was the technology itself. And that was still successful. So they did not have a particular license, but they did focus on that technology. So there's different ways that you can approach that question. So in terms of, does it impact the likelihood that you might win? Only in the smallest of ways. And that is through, looking for the right slide. I think I need to go this way. Apologies, everyone, for the structure. But when you're presenting, when you're one of the 180 teams presenting to the 15 regional events, one team from each of those regional events will be identified as a regional winner. So that's that 1 in 12 chance to become one of the 15 regional winners. However, across all those different regions, a team can be identified as a National Lab IP licensing bonus prize finalist. And so we could have up to 15 finalists who were presenting a plan for licensing National Lab IP. Whichever team ends up being the winner of that National Lab IP licensing bonus prize is invited to present alongside the regional winners and compete for first, second, and third. So you have a slightly higher chance because you have two pathways to get to that national first place, second place, third place competition by using a National Lab IP technology. But that's not necessary. And the other criteria of around who gets picked as first, second, or third do not relate to whether it comes from a National Lab IP or not. Hopefully that makes sense, but that is sort of the additional pathway that using a National Lab IP provides.
Thanks, Joe. Next question asks, will we have access to the lab access survey to view different technologies after we're accepted into the competition, or is this something we can access now?
Yeah, so that lab partnering service you can access now. It's available at any time. And then you can always refine your solution or adjust or pivot your direction as you are accepted. So if you're looking for a technology to be leveraged and you do that initial 200-word summary as necessary for that registration entry, and then you want to pivot slightly between January 26th and February 28th, if you are the team in Florida who gets to get all the way until February 28th to present, you're more than welcome to pivot and change or add additional technologies, but you're expected to have some idea of what you're hoping to focus on as we look at that registration entry on January 26th. But that lab partnering service is available now.
Great. I think we are almost to the end of our questions. I see a couple people asking about the OTT internship. We sent a link in the chat earlier to the website for that, and also an email address. So if you have specific questions related to the OTT technology commercialization internship program, I would point you to those resources. I also would just mention, if you have a very specific question about a technology or maybe an idea that you have, Joe, what would you recommend is the best way to, find out if that's an eligible technology?
Your best bet is to contact the organizer team at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov. I can't promise you that we'll give you a really clear answer, as we don't want to give any benefit to one team over another, but we'll do our best to address any uncertainty or concerns that you have. So please do contact the organizer team, ott.energytechup@nrel.gov.
All right, and I think we'll squeeze in one last question. Is the competition for teams of students, or would a single student and mentors be allowed to apply?
A team is expected. So I think we said the minimum team size is 2, but we do find from our last cycle that having someone to bounce those ideas off of, to share and present those solutions is important, and it does increase the quality of our submission. So minimum team size of 2, I believe, per the rules, and then you can have additional mentors or guidance as well. But recognize too that we do not take any role in deciding, should you be successful, how you distribute that prize money either. So you could even say, we are not going to be a 50-50 split. We're going to split in a different way. That's entirely up to you and your team's discretion. So yes, a team is more than one person. However, how that team is structured is entirely up to you.
Great. Joe, do you want to give any last closing remarks?
Generally, thank you everyone for sticking around. We hope you found this interesting and enjoyable. If you are someone who is not a student, please do consider leveraging our resources to recruit other students to participate. We think it's beneficial to your institution. We think it's beneficial to your association. And if you are a student, welcome. Please ask any questions that you have, and don't forget about us as you go through the new year, and return by January 26th to submit your registered entry. Thanks everyone. You will receive an email from us in the next day or two with a link to this recording and some reminders about where to find these resources. Hope you all have a great day.